What's up everyone, Bryan Lebo here with this month's update video. Now before we get into the nitty gritty, I want to preface this video with a quick analogy. If you've watched me before, you know that I'm all about statistics and analytics, which tend to provide us with insight into where the market is moving. But sometimes these statistics can be easily manipulated into telling us a false narrative. Now, I'm a huge NBA fan. Years ago, when analytics really first came into the game, we found that the best shots in the game are three-pointers and layups. Essentially, the entire mid-range game of basketball was statistically flawed. This meant that Steph Curry is God, and basically, Michael Jordan wasted his time taking poor percentage shots. Now, clearly that's a joke, but statistically factual. Sure, three-pointers are more efficient, but not if you're a bad shooter to begin with. So just because those analytics are true doesn't mean you tell a team of 12-year-old kids to start jacking up threes all game. See, that's kind of where this market is right now. The statistics and analytics are only telling us a part of the story. Real estate is local. Therefore, one neighborhood may be down 20%, while another neighborhood hasn't sold a home in 4 months, and prices appear to be unchanged. So during this video, I'm going to not only show you the statistical data, but illustrate how this relates in practical terms. Now, before we get started, check out this article from MarketWatch that just came out. According to them, Las Vegas is currently second in the country for cancellations. Between rising mortgage rates and declining market values, some sellers have backed out of new home purchases. When you signed that contract back in January, your payment was going to be, say, like $2,000 a month. Now, that payment is like $2,800 a month. So combine that with the fact that your home just went down 10%, affordability is the name of the game here. Suddenly, these buyers are getting hit from both angles. This financial market turned on us quicker than anyone had anticipated, but the real estate market itself is still trying to find its footing. As you'll see, while the writing is already on the wall, many sellers are refusing to capitulate with these changing times. But how long can this really last? Stay tuned as we dig right into all of this. Okay, first up, let's see how last month's sales came in. We sold 1,710 homes. This was a 44% reduction in sales from September last year when we sold 3,033 homes. In the last decade, we've only had 3 other months where sales were lower than this. 2 were in January, which is always the worst month of the year for closings, and then of course May of 2020 during the pandemic. Suffice to say, sales are abysmal out there and getting worse. Historically, October sales are about 50-50. Sometimes October is better than September, sometimes it's worse. So we'll have to see if we break the all-time record this month, or if we're gonna have to wait until November and December to break the record. Next, let's check in on median home prices. As you can see on the screen now, we gave back another $4,000 last month to settle in at $445,000. This marks the 4th month in a row that the median price has declined. We're now exactly $40,000 below our high set back in May. Now, here's where the cup half full analogy comes right into play. On one hand, you can say that the median price is still up 8.5% from this time last year, but more applicable is the half-empty approach that states that the median price has declined 9.7% in only 4 months. Over the next 3 months, if we give back $15,000, we'll be down to the exact median price in December of last year at $430,000. My guess is that's very likely to occur. All right, next, let's check out our current inventory levels. As you can see on the screen, we ended September with just under 8,000 homes on the market. This was only about a 1% increase over August numbers. So the good news here is that inventory is finally beginning to stabilize. We've had 24 straight weeks of increasing inventory, but instead of adding hundreds of homes per week, now we're only adding 10s and 20s. Historically, by mid-October, inventory starts shrinking as less homeowners decide to list during the holiday season. Now, while inventory has plateaued, with sales shrinking so much, we now have a 4.7 month supply of inventory. Now, an alleged balanced market consists of 6 months. So, by conventional wisdom, this is still a seller's market. But the reality is that it's anything but a seller's market. This is akin to the statistics saying that Michael Jordan was an inefficient player because he didn't shoot enough three-pointers. Now, while it appears as though inventory levels have plateaued, check out the withdrawn listings. Last month, we had 1,390 homes withdrawn from the market. This is 4 times as many withdrawn listings as we had in September of last year. Now, while some of these withdrawn listings were relisted immediately, it just shows you how many sellers out there refuse to lower their price and instead elected to just stay put. The vast majority of homes on the market right now are grossly overpriced and will never sell anywhere near their asking prices. This is what needs to get sorted out over the forthcoming months. This also explains why the inventory levels only tell one side of the story. This is a much different game than we were in 6 months ago, the same way Michael Jordan played in a completely different era with completely different rules. Now, to further investigate, let's take a look at housing absorption by price range. This provides us with insight as to how different price ranges are performing. The higher the number, the more competitive that market segment is. Now, the lower the number, the more stagnant. So let's start off with the bulk of the market, homes priced between $250,000 and $500,000. Currently, only 24% of homes on the market are under contract. Now, that's quite a stark contrast from back in March when we were sitting at 77%. Next, we look at 500 to 750. This declined from 20% in August to only 18%. Next, we move to 750 to 1 mil. This managed to drop 3% down to only 17%. Now, next is the worst performing segment, $1 million to $1.5 million. This plummeted from a high of 56% down to only 15%. In a bizarre twist, the ultra-luxury market of over $1.5 million had a small resurgence of 2% last month, jumping from 14% up to 16%. Now, overall, the market is now at 21% absorption, less than a third of our peak of 67%. Put simply, only 1 out of 5 homes on the market is in escrow right now. I'd say that's pretty loose. I'd also say this is probably the single best analytic to look at to determine how healthy the market is performing, since it takes both supply and demand into account. Now, let's put all of this together and make some sense out of all this madness. Sales are almost at an all-time low, the median price is still decreasing, inventory is stabilizing, while an increase in withdrawn listings are making up that difference. Meanwhile, housing absorption is incredibly low. So what's really going on and how does this affect me? Okay, remember in the beginning when I spoke about analytics not being everything? Right now, this market is very much a case-by-case basis. Virtually every home is now selling for less than the last sale. However, some neighborhoods have taken hits, some moderate, some 20% already. Now, the ones that I've seen that have taken these 20% hits, they're now selling again. However, the vast majority of neighborhoods, they just look like a parking lot. 5, 6, 7, even 8 homes for sale and none under contract. None. These are the red flag areas. If nobody can sell their home, clearly it's a matter of pricing here. It's simply a matter of time before a seller just dumps their listing for whatever the market will bear. Now, at that point, some sellers will follow suit, some will withdraw. It's already happening, just very slowly. I've already earmarked about 10 homes for my investors and buyers that I'm sure will come down another 10%. Right now, there's still a ton of hope out there amongst sellers. Now, you can call it delusion, call it hope, call it whatever you want. But eventually, these overpriced sellers will break. if your home doesn't sell in the next month, most likely you're going to be down until February when the market starts to slowly pick up again. But November and December are going to be huge for buying opportunities. Sellers who've already moved and still have a mortgage to pay are going to start getting really nervous in a few weeks. So if you're a seller, I'd say get very aggressive right now. What sounds like a terrible offer today might just be a great offer tomorrow. Now, if you're a buyer, time is so very much on your side. Remember that prices are going to continue to come down. If the neighborhood you're looking at isn't selling, be careful. Most likely it's about to free fall. So the deal you think you're getting might just be the opening act. The next guy up is likely to purchase less than you just did. So be very careful about these types of valuations. It's more important than ever that you have sufficient knowledge of the entire area, not just that individual neighborhood right now. This month, the only reason to purchase is because either the home is a unicorn, not likely to be listed again, or a deal so generous that you're insulated from any future depreciation. Now, other than these two scenarios, I'd say wait until November and December when the market starts to really loosen up and the deals start flowing. The move here is to rip a deal, insulate yourself from future depreciation, and then refinance once rates break through the fours again. But if you make a poor calculation, not only will you get hit with more depreciation, but you may wipe out your ability to refinance if your equity position is erased. Bottom line, October is the month to make cautious moves. If the seller isn't willing to negotiate, just wait them out. Odds are they'll break soon enough. All right, well, that's it for this month. Please share with your friends and family, click to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.